It was a crime which pushed everything else off the front pages. 3 men, all known criminals, found shot dead in the Essex countryside. It was a cold-blooded, professional killing. The victims had many enemies, but which one wanted them executed?
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex Boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex Boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. The following is the pathologist report for Craig Rolfe, conducted by Dr. Paula Lanas. External examination. The body was that of an adult white male, 174 centimetres in height and of medium build. The deceased was wearing 1. A black anorak with a fur collar. The right side of the collar was scorched and showed a 2 centimetre hole near the seam at the back. 2. A mustard coloured sweater. 3. Blue denim jeans. 4. A black belt. 5. White and navy checked boxer shorts. 6. Grey socks. 7. Brown boots. 8. A yellow metal loop earring in the left earlobe. 9. A watch with a black strap on the left wrist. The following injuries were noted about the body as follows. 1. A 2.2 by 3 cm shotgun wound of entry over the right parietal region of the scalp, 2 cm behind the upper fixed point of the ear and just above it. There was a rim of blackening around the upper and posterior edges. Small scuffed abrasions measuring 5 by 7 mm and 4 by 6 mm from above down and 4 mm apart were situated 0.5 cm in front of the anterior edge of the wound. A number of minor scuffed abrasions were present behind the upper half of the right ear. A 6 by 5 cm irregular shotgun wound of exit was situated over the mid-brow and top of the nose and involved the left eye which protruded forwards. There was also a 3.4 by 0.7 cm skin split laceration over the outer angle of the left eye. A fragment of plastic wad was recovered from the brain. Numerous lead pellets were present within the brain substance. Point 2. An 11.8 by 5 cm shotgun wound of entry overlying the right angle of the jaw. A number of skin split lacerations radiated from the anterior and upper edges. Multiple pellet wounds measuring 3 to 4 mm were present around the top and upper half of the anterior edge of the wound. A series of scuffed burns in an area measuring 7 by 6 cm and intersected by transverse bands of sparing along the skin folds were present under the shotgun wound. There was marked blackening in the lower edge of the wound. A missile track passed downwards from the right angle of the jaw into the neck. A plastic wad was lodged in the base of the track and numerous pellets were recovered from the wound. A 1 by 0.3 cm oblique healing laceration over the back of the upper segment of the left ring finger. A 1.5 by 2.5 cm irregular scar over the junction of the upper and middle thirds of the right arm. A 6 by 0.5 cm oblique scar over the front of the upper third of the right forearm. 2 linear scars of 9 by 0.5 cm and 8 by 0.5 cm over the outer aspect of the lower half of the left arm. The former contained approximately 8 healing puncture marks and latterly approximately 5 puncture marks. A number of minor circular scars around the scars over the left arm and also over the anterolateral aspect of the left arm. Okay, let's just cut in here briefly to discuss one of the interesting points which is listed here in this examination. Now, we know that Tucker, Tate and Rolfe were very heavy drug users, injecting all kinds of substances, and I think this is backed up here by the discovery of these puncture marks on Craig Rolfe's left arm. It states the following there. The former contained approximately 8 healing puncture marks and latterly approximately 5 puncture marks, So they're talking about the lower half of the left arm here. I'd assume that Craig Rolfe was right-handed, and these are obviously injection marks on his left arm there. Let's continue on from where we left off. A 6 by 0.5 centimetre oblique scar over the front of the upper third of the left forearm. A tattoo was present over the outer aspect of the middle third of the right arm. A tattoo reading CR was present over the outer aspect of the tip of the left shoulder. A tattoo reading Mum was present over the right shoulder blade. Internal examination, head and neck. There was minimal patchy bruising of the scalp. There was comminuted fracture of the base and vault of the skull. The meninges and brain were extensively lacerated, particularly on the right side. There was extensive disruption of the right jaw and the soft tissues over the right side of the face and neck. There are fractures of the cervical vertebrae on the right-hand side with bruising. Thorax. The air passages contained a large quantity of blood. Inhaled blood was present in the lower lobe of each lung. The pericardium was normal. The heart was enlarged to 460 grams, mainly due to left ventricular thickening and dilation. The myocardium and valves were normal. The coronary arteries were thin-walled and clear. There was minimal aortic atherosclerosis. Abdomen. The stomach contained a moderate quantity of partially digested food material. The tubular gut was normal. The liver was pale. The gallbladder, pancreas, spleen and adrenal glands were normal. The kidneys, ureter and bladder were unremarkable. The bladder contained a large quantity of clear urine. Conclusions. 1. The body was that of an adult white male, 174 centimetres in height and of medium build. 2. The heart was enlarged, but this did not cause or contribute to his death at this time. 3. Death resulted from shotgun wounds to the head. 4. Both shotgun wounds were consistent with the weapon being discharged close to the head. 5. There was no evidence that the victim had attempted to defend himself. The following is the pathologist report of Tony Tucker, conducted by Dr. Paula Lanas. External examination. The body was that of a middle-aged white male, 180 centimetres in height and of heavy build. There was heavy blood staining around the mouth and nose, and fragments of jaw and teeth protruded through the lips. There was bruising around the right eye which had collapsed in. There was also bruising of the left upper and lower eyelids. There was evidence of early putrefactive change in that the tissues and organs were stained by lysed red blood cells and showed post-mortem gaseous changes. The deceased was wearing 1. A black hooded anorak with white stripes along the outer aspect of the arms. Shotgun damage was evident in the collar of his anorak on the right side, and there was heavy blood staining down the right side of the anorak. 2. A fleecy navy blue zip-up jacket. A 1.5 cm diameter hole was present in the edge of the collar on the right side, and a 2 cm diameter hole further in. 3. A white vest. 4. Blue denim jeans. 5. A black belt. 6. Black socks. 7. Black caterpillar boots. 8. A yellow metal stud with a clear stone. A number of injuries were noted about the body as follows. 1. A 3 by 2.7 cm roughly squared shotgun wound of entry over the right occipital region of the head, 1.5 cm above the occipital protuberance and 5.5 cm to the right of the midline. Tears extended from each upper angle. A 1.2 by 2.5 cm irregular abrasion around the lower edge contained a number of pellet wounds, and a separate pellet wound was situated 2 mm from the right lower angle of the wound. 2. A 3.2 by 2.2 cm roughly squared shotgun wound of entry, 2.2 cm in front of the right ear. A 1 by 1.5 cm roughly squared flame burn was situated over the upper end, and a 1 by 2.4 cm flame burn under the lower end. Approximately 4 pellet wounds were identified behind the wound, and skin split tears radiated from the front end. 3. A 6 by 2.2 cm shotgun wound of entry over the right angle of the jaw, 1.5 cm below injury 2. A 1.7 by 1.7 cm oval abrasion was present around the upper end. The lower end was ragged and darkly edged. 3 pellet injuries were identified in the lower margin. 4. An 8 by 1.2 cm vertical skin split laceration over the right parietal region, 5 cm behind the upper fixed point of the ear. 5. A 3 by 4 mm pellet wound over the right neck, 4 cm below the lower fixed point of the ear. 3 plastic wads were recovered from inside the skull, the right cheek and the mouth. Numerous lead pellets were present under the scalp and in the soft tissues of the head. Internal examination, head and neck. There was a small amount of bruising of the scalp. The base and vault of the skull were extensively fractured. The meninges and dura were extensively lacerated. The right side of the jaw and the tissues of the right side of the face and neck were pulped. There were fractures of the cervical vertebrae on the right side of the neck. A 4 cm transverse laceration, 2 cm deep, was present over the top of the tongue. Thorax. The air passages contained a small quantity of blood. There was a large amount of inhaled blood in the lower lobe of each lung. The pericardium was normal. The heart was enlarged to 460 grams, mainly due to biventricular thickening and dilation. The myocardium and valves appeared normal. The coronary arteries showed local thickening only. Abdomen. The stomach contained a small quantity of partially digested food material, within which mushrooms could be identified. The tubular gut was normal. The liver showed post-mortem gaseous changes. The gallbladder, pancreas, spleen and adrenal glands were normal. The kidneys, ureters and bladder were unremarkable. The bladder was empty. Conclusions. 1. The body was that of a middle-aged white male, 180 cm in height and of heavy build. 2. The heart was enlarged and the coronary arteries were mildly narrowed, but this did not cause or contribute to his death at this time. 3. Death resulted from shotgun wounds to the head. 4. The shotgun wounds were consistent with the weapon being discharged close to the head. 5. There was no evidence that the victim had attempted to defend himself. The following is the pathologist report of Pat Tate, conducted by Dr. Paula Lanas. External examination. The body was that of a middle-aged white male, 186.5 cm in height and of heavy build. The deceased was wearing 1. A black leather jacket, 2 tears of 4 cm and 6.5 by 1.5 cm, 1.2 cm apart, were just in front of the right side seam. 2. A grey white wool sweater. A 9 by 3 cm irregular tear was situated in the right side of the sweater. 3. Blue denim jeans. The jeans were heavily bloodstained over the outer aspect of the left thigh and leg. 4. Black belt. 5. Multicoloured socks. 6. Black boots. 7. A yellow metal chain around his neck. 8. A clear stone mounted in yellow metal in his left earlobe. The following injuries were noted about the body. 1. A 9 by 1.5 cm missile graze running downwards and to the right over the back of the head, 4 cm above the occipital protuberance. The edges were irregular. The upper left-hand edge appeared squared. The lower right-hand edge was slightly tapered. 4 small pellet wounds, each measuring 3 to 4 mm, were present around the lower right-hand end. There was a pink staining around the upper left-hand half of the wound. The graze did not penetrate the full thickness of the scalp and showed underlying bruising. Point 2. A 9 by 7 cm shotgun wound of entry over the left occipital region, 4 cm behind the upper fixed point of the ear. A 4 by 4 cm area of flame burning containing a number of small pellet wounds was present around the lower edge of this injury. The wound track passed slightly forwards and from left to right. The brain was extensively lacerated, particularly the left cerebral hemisphere and cerebellum. Plastic wad and numerous lead pellets were recovered from the wound. Point 3. A 6 by 4 cm shotgun wound of entry over the right lower rib margin, 30 cm below the mid-axillary point. The edges were irregular, slightly scalloped and slightly abraded. A 3mm pellet wound was situated 8mm behind the posterior quadrant at the 20-30 hours position. Small patchy bruises in association with a number of pellets under the skin surrounded the wound in an area totaling 17 by 10 cm. The wound track passed right to left, upwards and slightly forward. It resulted in fractures to the lower edge of the 6th rib and the 7th to 9th ribs and laceration of the anterior aspect of the right lobe of the liver. Plastic wad and numerous lead pellets were lodged under the skin and in the soft tissues over the right chest wall and liver. Point 4. Bruising and swelling of the right periorbital tissues. A 9 cm surgical scar over the left anterior iliac crest. A 5 cm scar behind the middle third of the right arm. An 18 cm linear scar over the back of the upper 2/3 of the right forearm. A 15.5 cm linear scar over the back of the lower half of the left thigh. A number of tattoos were present over both arms and forearms and the mid-back. Tattoos of swallows were present over the upper chest on each side. Internal examination. Head and neck. The scalp was bruised, particularly around the shotgun wound. There was comminuted fracture of the base and vault of the skull. The left cerebral hemisphere and cerebellum were extensively lacerated but otherwise normal. The cerebral vessels were thin-walled and clear. The tissues and intrinsic structures of the mouth, pharynx and neck were normal and intact. Thorax. The air passages contained a small quantity of fresh blood. The lungs were healthy. The pericardium was normal. The heart was enlarged to 460 grams, mainly due to left ventricular thickening and dilation. A 1 cm scar was present in the posterior aspect of the left ventricle. The valves were normal. The anterior descending artery showed up to 60% narrowing due to eccentric plaque, and the left circumflex artery showed 40 to 50% narrowing due to concentric plaque. The right coronary artery was thin-walled and clear. The aorta showed minimal disease. Abdomen. The stomach was empty. The tubular gut was normal. The anterior aspect of the right lobe of the liver was severely lacerated but otherwise normal. The gallbladder, pancreas, spleen and adrenal glands were normal. The kidneys, ureters and bladder were unremarkable. Conclusions. 1. The body was that of a middle-aged white male, 186.5 cm in height, of muscular build. The heart was enlarged and there was evidence of pre-existing ischemic heart disease, but this did not cause or contribute to his death. Death resulted from multiple shotgun wounds. The shotgun wound to the left side of the head was consistent with the weapon being discharged close to the skin. The missile graze and shotgun wound to the left chest were consistent with the weapon being discharged near the body. There were no evidence that the victim had attempted to defend himself. Okay, let's just cut in again here and discuss a few points on Pat Tate's examination. Now, as many of you at home will be aware, when they did the autopsy on Pat Tate, they took a look at his heart, and his heart was not in a good situation. Basically, he was well on his way to having a severe heart attack, as explained there in that examination. Also, what is interesting is the lack of defensive wounds. Now, this goes in complete contrast to the version of events put forward by Darren Nichols. Darren Nichols claims that obviously he was the getaway driver that night. He was with Michael Steele and Jack Holmes, driving away from the scene of the crime. And I believe it was Michael Steele who said, "Did you smash the back window?" He was saying that to Jack Holmes. Jack Holmes said, no, that was Pat. He smashed the window with his hand. Now, the fact that there's no defensive type wounds here, there's no cuts, there's no abrasions, there's no grazes on Pat Tate's hands, on the outer side of his hands where his knuckles are, there's no sort of glass fragments or scuffs which would indicate that he smashed the glass with his hand or his forearm or whatever. So that goes, as I say, to count against the version of events as put forward by Darren Nichols there. Now, looking at that from an alternative perspective for one moment, you could say that Tate was wearing a leather jacket. Could he have used his elbow to have smashed the window? I guess that is a possibility. But again, what counts against that is the evidence put forward by the ballistic experts in court. It was of their opinion that one of the shotgun blasts passed through the window prior to hitting Tate in the head. Basically what they're saying there is that the glass was complete on the near side rear of the vehicle before that gun blast took place.
Police forensic teams continue to search the scene of the shooting today as it became clear they were dealing with a major gangland killing.